Thank you for tuning in to My Why podcast today. This is the podcast where we fuel passions, share journeys, and inspire dreams. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest. He's an actor, comedian, host, and model whose work spans the stage, television, and film. You've seen him on films such as A Worthy Punishment and Thanksgiving Roast on Amazon Prime, and A Wesley Christmas on BET Plus, Miscalculated on Tubi, and his latest starring role is the character Joey in the movie Stoners, now streaming on Tubi. Beyond acting, he is a talented visual artist creating stunning murals, portraits, and digital art. And of course, he's a proud HBCU graduate of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And his smile lights up any room he walks into. Welcome, paulcjerry, to the podcast today.
Hey, little K, baby. Yo, that introduction, I said, woo, you really did your research. I don't compliment you.
Come on.
Like, Simone, look, cheers to you. Hats off.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you being on, the show today, and I'm just excited to have this conversation. So we'll just get right into it. So obviously we just talked about your introduction, right? So from
Right.
reading your introduction, you're a man of like many talents, and most people don't explore their talents to the extent that you have. Like most people just try to stay in one lane or not really
Right.
have the wherewithal to like explore. So like where does that boldness come from to explore and like all your talents?
Ooh. I mean, when I was younger, man, I was just always just curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just take my bike and just ride it to different places. I'll leave early in the morning, come out late at night. And I think that confidence came, from my mom. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And my mom was like very, very bold. My dad was bold. They were both God fearing and faith. My dad took a lot of risks. I remember sometimes, like, man, we be riding on faith, a little bit of
Oh.
gas. He's like, yo, God go work it out. And then somebody might send us some money, for gas. And like just watching my dad struggle and watching my mom struggle and us not having enough food and us selling stuff to buy other stuff. I said, man, I don't want to keep living like that. I like God blessed me with a lot of talent, so I will always explore. Okay, I know I'm a drawer. I know I could write. You know what I'm saying? I know I like acting. And then I bumped into comedy on accident because people said, Pablo, you always telling stories and they're funny. Like that's what a comedian does.
Right, right,
I
right.
said, really? So I just started just working on stuff. And like when I was in school, I used to host the morning announcements. I would, host all of the events. And now they bring me back to host, like Hawkins Stereo basketball games at my college or to be, what do you call it? The master ceremonies for like a cocktail event.
Yeah.
And so it just came from me just stepping out of my shell. Like, all right, let me see what else I have because when I was younger, I was too small to play sports
Mm.
and I tried doing football and I was small and I'm like, all right, let me do wrestling because I'm going to somebody my same weight. So it really kind of started with just my mom and my dad and then the trickle from sports and
Mhm.
into the arts. And now like I tell her I'm not scared of nothing no more.
Right, right, right. And so like with the ability just to do so much, like and particularly in like as you're acting, right? So like what about acting stood out to you and what made you want to pursue it? Was the road clear? Was the road difficult? Like what was that path for you?
The path with acting, it wasn't all the way clear, but I knew I wanted to do something on TV. Like when I would
Mm,
watch Martin and Fresh Prince of Bel Air and In the House, I'm like, man, I could do that. Like that's easy. And I would
right.
just imitate the people I saw on TV, LL Cool J, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith.
Yeah.
I would imitate the dudes I would see on WrestleMania, like what's the dude? Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm like, oh yeah, the Slim Jim. And I would just practice. And as I started practicing, I said, okay, now I'm starting to realize that there's an art to acting. And you can't just, even though you might have the skill, you still got to kind of learn acting because there's a million and one ways you can say, I love you, I hate you, I miss
Mhm.
you, and to learn that is what I learned from my acting coach, Percy Thomas. And I just kept doing, plays at my school, Surrattsville, plays at King George High School, plays at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and I started just working on my craft. And I said, all right, when I graduated UMES, I didn't have an agent, didn't have a manager. So that's why I ended up taking a job at the police department. I said, all right, I'm gonna be a cop, but I'm only doing this, Simone, for 10 years. 10
Oh, so
years.
you
That's
already
it.
had you already had like a
I
where
had a
your
cutoff.
off.
I
Yeah,
said,
okay.
look, I'm gonna work on this for 10 years. I said, while I'm doing my police stuff, I'm gonna still be doing my acting, still be doing my auditions, still traveling, still learning. And once it got to the point where my acting was superseding and on the same level as my police, I said, all right, it's time to go because I had got a real big audition for my agent.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me back like 3 months later after the audition. She said, Pablo, they loved you. I said, who? She said, the casting director. I said, for what project? Because I auditioned
Yeah.
for so many. And she said, they want to cast you, but they need you tomorrow. I said, I'm in LA. I said, right now I'm in Texas. I got to fly to LA to do a
Mm-hmm.
rehearsal. And then I could get a red eye flight, but I couldn't get that flight. But
Yeah.
guess how long they needed me for? They needed me from March the 14th to April the 20th. I
Oh,
couldn't
so
get off of
you had
work.
to just get up and you would have had to just get up and go
I would have
from
had to just get
school.
up and go and quit like right then and there. And
Wow.
I was like, I don't think I'm ready to quit just yet. Like the 10-year
Yeah.
mark, it's in
Yeah.
May and we're still in April. I want to make sure I'm vested. So I waited. And then after that, I said, man, God, I really wanted that role. It probably was paying a lot. But I ended up getting a 10-day role, which was Stoners. We was
Oh
on
wow.
set for 10 days.
Nice.
And after Stoners, I quit my job.
Oh my god. So what was it like to finally be able to basically you said you did say what you wanted to do and you did what you said. So what was that feeling like that it actually happened? You know what
Well,
I
at
mean?
first it was scary, Simone. It was
Yeah.
scary because I'm like, God, like, how am I gonna do this? Like, first of all, just to give you some transparency, at that time, my girlfriend was suffering with breast cancer,
Mm.
and I didn't know the severity of her breast cancer. My sister was suffering from breast cancer, stage
Oh,
two,
wow.
but my girl, she didn't tell me she was at stage four. So when I quit, I'm like, all right, God, my sister is not gonna be able to work. Like, she's
Yeah.
getting a double mastectomy. She's getting her lymph nodes removed. So I'm gonna be the only one working. And I was barely doing the bills when I was working as a cop. So I'm like, all right, whatever you got planned for me, it's
It
gonna
does.
work itself out.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
God has just been providing. You know, she hasn't worked since October of last year, and we've
Wow.
still been covering everything. God been putting me through like the ringer, you know. And like I said, it was scary because a lot of times we want to have everything figured out. All right, God, I'm gonna quit my job, but I'm gonna have 100 grand in the bank. I'm gonna be comfortable. God was like, no, no, you're not gonna have a lot of money.
Did you know what's so interesting? Because I could think about times in my life that you realize that even if you have a like plans that you like, okay, that this is how it should go. In
Right,
no situation have I ever between me and God, or when I had things going on, that it went like linear. Like it was
right.
always
It's
like
like,
this. It never was how you expected. It was never, but it was always how it. But the end, it's like my mom always said, the end result was always God's first intention. So like
mm,
so that was like how I always take a look. It's like even though there's a bunch of stuff in the middle, the end result. Once I see that end result, which was for you, the end result was you were able to quit your job. But how it happened was maybe that first thing audition that you or the
yeah,
how you're able to get is like, well, no, this is not how it's going to happen. But the end result was you still got that result. You know,
wow.
so it's just
And
so
another thing to piggyback on top of that, because I was scared, my
yeah.
girl who passed away, she was
Mm,
the one that kind of like pushed me to stick
wow.
to my guns. Cause I was like, man, me and my coworker, we like, hey, we both gonna quit at the same time since we started at the same time. But
Yeah.
he wasn't trying to quit and do his own thing. He wanted to quit and go to the FBI. I wanted to quit law enforcement altogether. No
Altogether.
more
Yeah.
copy traffic, no more dispatch, none of that.
Yeah.
She said, Pablo, she said, you're an actor, you're a comedian, you're an artist. You have skills. She said, them other people don't got the skills that you got. You're gonna be okay. Don't stress, don't worry, God gonna provide. And when I tell you, I put those 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
Simone, I felt like I was getting my freedom papers back.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
I
Yeah.
felt like the Emancipation Proclamation. Like when I gave
Yeah.
them all them uniforms and
Oh my
jackets
gosh.
and belts, I said I'm free. I don't have
Wow.
to work overnight anymore. So I was working overnight 6 p.m. to 6 in the morning. Then I would get a couple hours of sleep, try to study my lines, rehearse. Like I was always thinking about acting at work. I wasn't even thinking about
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just like,
I said, God, deliver me from Egypt. Like that job felt like Pharaoh's rule in Egypt.
mm, right. So like you even okay, so now that you're into acting, you got into it, right? What about becoming a different character? You know, like what is like what let's say what is your like what excites you about turning into a different character? What excites you about acting? What excites you about, just all of it?
I would say most importantly empathy, like and
Mm,
being able to take myself out of my own shoes and bias and put them in the character shoes, like the character Marvin. I know you're in Atlanta, but you're gonna get a chance to see the movie next weekend when we come to Atlanta. But Marvin, he's a homeless autistic kid.
mm,
And I didn't really know too much about autism or autistic abilities or a kid with, some type of dysfunction. But learning about Marvin and putting myself in his shoes, like it just makes you more humble and more aware of like your surroundings. Like you don't, as an actor, when I put myself in these roles, you don't judge people. And it's like you look
right,
at them, okay, there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing, whether they're acting good, whether they're acting bad, whether they're conniving, sneaky, manipulative. There's a reason behind everything that this person is doing. You kind of like take a second step out of yourself to
yeah.
look at this character, whether he's a drug dealer. Okay, I'm playing this drug dealer, in this new TV series Crew. But even though he's a drug dealer, he don't want to do drugs. He want to get out the
Right.
game. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
think, but I think also too with that, a lot of time, like I'm a writer, so I like to write fiction. I have characters that live in my head. I don't want to be. I
Wow.
want to write the characters
Wow.
to give them the life and the nuance, right? So I always find it interesting, especially with actors, like when they can find that nuance that ev- everybody has some sort of redeemable quality in them. You just
Right.
have to figure out. You just have to pull it out of what or show it, because I mean there are times that people write actors to have be either good or evil, but that
Right.
nobody's fully one or the other. Something either occurs, something either happens, or they just decide, they make the decision that they're going to go all the way dark because of
Right.
something that happened. Because it's always something that happens, right? So like when you're doing like your particular character, is there like a way that you prepare? Is there a way that you do like go into a sense of research? Everybody's different, so what is your way?
Yeah, so depending on the character, first I create a backstory. Okay, this is the name of the character. Okay, how old is he? Okay, does he have parents? Does he have siblings? Okay, what school did he go to? Is he from the South? Is he from the city? I always try to figure out what type of shoes is he wearing, because type of shoes somebody will wear would tell you a lot about their character. And Marvin, he's autistic and handicapped. So when I went to the thrift store to look for shoes, I made sure I found shoes with no laces because he
Mhm.
can't tie. So it had to be a Velcro strap on.
Yeah.
And Marvin's character took a little bit more research than I normally do. I might look at a different film or embody myself in like the world of the character. But because he was autistic, I went to an autistic school and I wanted
Mm,
to study the kids. I said, hey, let me see what they look like when they get happy, when they get angry, when they get upset, when they get
mhm,
nervous. Okay, I'm a pull from that because I don't want to look at another actor's performance and mimic it. Like I didn't want
mm,
to mimic Cuba Gooding Jr. in Radio or Leonardo
yeah,
DiCaprio in The Road to Gracie Grape. I want to have Pablo's own interpretation of Marvin.
right.
So a lot of times, like I said, I'll create the backstory and I'll find people that are similar to my character. I think about how he talks, how he
Mhm,
thinks, and like I'll make this big world around him. And when you bring that world to set, they be like, yo, I know Pablo be online and hype, but is something wrong with him? Like he look different. Like that's the
yeah,
character. And even the facial hair. My character is homeless. He doesn't look like this. So I had to
right.
grow all this facial hair. I had no shape up. Like
Oh no,
everything just
yeah,
looked rough. So it's like you want to look the part and also be the part.
Right, right. No, that makes sense. And I also think about like when, because there's spectrums of autism too. So
Right.
is there a point that you had to figure out the spectrums of
Yeah,
that?
so I had to figure out the spectrum, and I kind of decided that when as I was reading the script. So Marvin,
Hmm.
he got these drumsticks. You know, the drumsticks is like what makes him relax and calm. So whenever he get nervous, he get his drumsticks, or he might play his drumsticks. So when I was reading the script, and I would read what the my mom, my homeless mom, Sean, who plays Helen, what she would say to me, and he would react like she was like, you dumb, you stupid. He's like, no, I'm not dumb, I'm not dumb. And he would go into like this rant. And I was like, okay, so he's smart. He's not
Mm.
super autistic. He understands, he can communicate, but he can communicate to the extent to be on his own. So
Yeah.
that was when I realized, okay, he's on the spectrum, but he still can like understand.
Yeah. So is there any role, other roles that you've done that's challenged you in a difficult way?
I would say that role was the main one that challenged me. I would say the other role I played right before I went to Germany. It's this movie called The Making of Her, and I
Mm.
had to play a villain. I'm always
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
and everything,
Yeah, exactly. So,
but he was
and
a
that's
Spanish
usually on the
villain.
other side. Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, papi, like, yo, where's my kilos? Okay. I said, yo, I don't want to hear any excuses. And so as I'm getting the character and like I had to say like I got you B, and
Mm.
but I didn't want to say it because I was like calling girls B, so I said it in
Yeah.
Spanish. I said yo te tengo pera, and I had the gun pointing on like after I knocked her, I said boom. I said yo te
Yeah.
tengo pera, and I had the gun, and she was like, "Ooh, Papa, you turned me on." I said, "Well, stop."
No, that's not supposed to happen.
I said I wasn't trying. I said I was in character, but so many people they see me happy, jovial, and when they see me serious, they be like, "Yo, that's sexy." I like, it is.
I'm,
Okay,
I'm mad right now.
I'm bad. I'm not trying to be sexy.
Like,
I'm
you
trying
can't
to be a
smile at all
thug.
when you're upset. Like, your smile is going to just completely just end anything
Right?
that's
It just completely changes. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
I think the other it was kind of difficult too. Even though it's comedic in Thanksgiving Rose playing the
Yeah,
crackhead. Boo boo. And I'm like, all right, boo boo, he homeless too. He got these clothes on. I was like, give me Miller. You got a couple dollars I can borrow. And I had like all
yeah,
this dirt on my face and stuff. And, just trying to stay in character and move. I'm like, all right, I'm not like Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm not like these other people. Like, how can I make it, believe when as people started laughing and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a good job.
yeah.
It's
And
like,
comedy's
Apollo, do
not
that again.
easy.
Do that again.
Yeah, comedy's not an easy task.
It's not.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Simone, I was in character so much, and I wish the director could have got it on camera. We was at the gas station, and I was just, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, scratching myself in character. Got this old, dirty
Mm.
jersey on, not jersey, like a suit jacket with like some
Yeah.
pants. And a guy walks up to me, mind you, the cameraman is in front of me at the pump about to
Yeah.
record, but the camera wasn't on. And the guy walks up to me. This is when I was still a cop. He said, "Hey man, you got some gas?" I said, man, I could tell him I'm undercover. I could tell him I'm acting, or I could just
Oh
play
my God.
along. I
Oh
said, I
my
don't
gosh,
want to
that's
tell him
crazy.
I'm undercover because he might try to hurt me. I don't want to tell him I'm
Yeah.
acting. I said, I'm going to stay in character. I said, man, nigga, gas. Man, you got some crack? He said, oh, hell no. And
Oh
he
my God.
ran. He asked me for crack. No, he asked me for gas. I asked him for crack. And he didn't want none of that. He took off. The director was like, yo, what did he ask you?
Oh
I
my
said, yo, he
God.
asked me for some weed. And I asked if he had crack. And he got scared and ran.
Right, right. Oh my gosh.
He
So,
ran so fast, but it was just so funny. And after doing that, I did a social experiment in the
yeah,
character, because I still had the uniform and
yeah,
everything. And I went to a gas station right during the peak of COVID, and I was asking, for money. And if you gave me money, I would tell you I'm just acting. But if you didn't, I would just stay in character. I'm like, give me, man, you got $1 I can borrow. I said, let me just borrow 50 cents. I said, look, I'll wash your car for 30 cents and I'll pump your gas for 40. Gentlemen, get away from me, crackhead, man. Get your crackhead son away
Oh
from me.
wow.
I said, oh, I'm all right, I'm all right. I said, look, but look, if you got something, let me know. And then I run back and one guy, I'm like, man, you got $1 I can borrow, man, just a $0.25 something. He said, yeah, man. He gave me another. I said, man, I just want to let you know I'm just acting. He said, what? I said, bro, I'm not really a crackhead. He said, stop playing. He said, bro, you crazy. And I ended up meeting one lady from Netflix. She gave me
Oh
like
wow.
$2. I said, give me, I just want to let you know I'm just acting. She looked at me, she put her mask down. She said,
Oh my
what? I
gosh.
said, I'm just acting. I said, look, I'm in a movie on Amazon Prime called Thanksgiving Rose, and I'm playing like this character. And so I just wanted to see if people still had a heart. And like 6 people that night had a heart and they gave me money. I told them I was just acting. But I
Yeah.
love it, man, because like with acting, you can be anything you want, a cop, a
Yes.
crackhead, a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying, a kingpin, a hitman. And I feel like ever since I quit my job, I've been everything criminal other than police.
It prepares you to
It
know
prepared
that
me. It
clown.
prepared me for everything that I needed. Like,
Right. Right.
I'm like, man, I've been
That's
doing
the
so many
special
criminal
interest.
roles, drug dealers, kingpins, hitmans, hackers, like
Well, it
everything under
wasn't
the
well, it
sun.
wasn't wasted.
It
You
wasn't wasted.
at all.
Now
So
I see. Now I see.
nice to that. So speaking of your smile, like I said, like I said in the intro, and as anybody can see, it lights up a room, right? You always maintain a positive attitude, but when times are difficult, like how do you maintain your natural demeanor? Because really, that's your.
Yeah, well, when times are difficult, Simone, to be honest, like I lean on God so
Mm,
much. I lean on my family. I pray. That's why you can see me running a lot. Like that's my therapy. Running. I draw. I paint because Stella Adler said this quote, man. I will never ever forget it. She said, "Life will crush and destroy your soul." She said,
mm,
"But the arts remind you that you have one."
wow.
And when I get like emotional, like, when I lost my mom,
Mm,
Simone, like that was like such a rough
yeah.
moment. And I'm like, God, like, why would you take this beautiful lady out of my life? And I'm like, man, she was like everything to me. And like when I had to cry in this play that I did, and it was just so emotional, Simone. And that's how I tell you, man, like acting saved me
Yeah.
because like I've been through so much, Simone. Like losing my mom, losing my little brother, losing
Mm,
my girl, getting separated from my family, moving from house to house, and being in
yeah.
like foster homes as guardianships. I'm like, God, like when is this gonna stop?
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm coming out of my Job years, my
Yeah.
Joseph years, and God, like it was a reason for that pain. And it's
Yeah.
like now, like my dad's gonna be at my premiere Saturday. And it just means so much to
Yeah.
me. And like I want to break so many generational curses. I ain't gonna say one, two. I am breaking
Yeah.
so many off of my
Right.
family. And it's like it took me to go through all of that. But I understand now why God say, you got to be a living sacrifice. So like me losing my mom and losing people in my life, now I'm able to help other people who've lost their mom or lost their family. Pablo, how did you cope with it? Well, first of all, I didn't try to fight my way through it like I did the first time. I tried to
Mm.
just box. All right, let me just fight my way through it.
Yeah, I
I
do
said,
remember
nah,
you were
I'm not
boxing.
gonna do that. I'm gonna. As soon
Yeah.
as I finish boxing, the pain come back. I went to a therapist. She was like, write letters to your mom and why don't you talk to your mom and ball it up, but it was through prayer and acting because with acting, I was able to cry and not be criticized and
Hmm.
feel less of a man because you're
Yeah.
crying and you're weak. And this it's like with acting, it was like, hey, I was applauded for my vulnerability and not I
Mm.
criticized for it. So man, that's
Yeah.
how I stay strong, man. I had my moments, like I do right
Yeah.
now. But
Demons,
I'm
yeah.
always praying.
Yeah.
I'm always reading my Bible, and I would say community. Like you gotta have people that are okay with you being vulnerable around them and not push it back in your face. Yeah, remember you was crying the other day, man, you little punk, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I was vulnerable around you. Gonna use it against me? Like,
Yeah. No.
I think that's what like keeps me, and also too, man, knowing where I came from, knowing
Yeah.
what how I used to be, and how I didn't used to have a car, and didn't used to have a nice place to live in, and
Mhm.
food on the table. And it's like looking at the stuff I have now, even though I'm not a millionaire, I'm like, God, look, I would be one.
Yeah. Right. Right. No,
And when
that's
I become one, it's not just for me. I'm gonna start my Pablo School of the Arts. I'm gonna have my Pablo Foundation, my Pablo Scholarship Fund in my college. Like I want to be successful to help other people,
and it's on
find their
record. I
purpose.
want you to know that you just said that it's on record, so you can come back to this interview while you
Bet.
have
I'm
all
like, yo,
that.
remember in
You come back.
2025? Look
Yes.
at me now. Look
Yes,
at me now.
exactly. We go. You said it because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna
And
happen.
yeah. So
It's gonna happen.
what would you tell someone that is like just on the untraditional path, like who wants to pursue their dreams, but may have just difficult moments that are happening and that's discouraging them, in this moment. Like, what would you tell someone?
Man, you gotta motivate yourself like every day, like because we was always taught life and death is in the power of the tongue. He
Hmm.
that say he cans and he that says he can't is usually right. So no
Yeah.
matter what's going on around you, you gotta stay centered, grounded. It was so many people, Pablo, you're not gonna be no actor. You're not gonna do this. You said you leave your job last year. You said that 3 years ago. Well, all right, I'm gonna keep saying it until I leave. So I tell people you
Exactly.
gotta trust the voice inside of you. And the voice inside of you has to be louder than the voice around you.
Yeah.
Did that train just go
Yeah.
up?
It's just that's because yeah. No.
Okay, yeah, the
Yeah.
voice inside you has to be louder than the voice around you. And you
Yeah.
got to keep a good community. And it's one thing to have a goal and a dream, but you got to write it down. God said, make it plain. Write down how much money do you want to make? What shows do you want to be on? What networks you want to be on? What
Mm.
type of difference do you want to make? Because you have it all in your head, it's not going to work. You got to like make it
Yeah.
plain. And also, too, you got to put God first. And the reason why I say that because I'm doing the same thing, Simone, I was doing 10 years ago. But I decided to put God before it. I was like, God, man, to show you that I'm putting you first, man. I'm gonna read my Bible every morning. Before I read any movie scripts, I'm gonna study the original script.
Hmm.
And God was like, since you put me first, I'm gonna put you first. But if you think what you want is first before God, God be like, man, I'm gonna
Yeah.
shut all that down.
They don't
Like
want
you don't
that.
even care about me. Like you don't care about my
Yeah.
kingdom. Like so I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, God, to show you that.
It's a not basic, but it was clear. Seek first the kingdom of God,
Yeah, the kingdom. It
and
didn't
all
say you can't seek
added.
anything else.
Yeah,
It
just
just
seek
says seek
first.
it first.
Yes, and
You
everything else
know,
is added. So the things that are happening is the addition because it's
you seek him first.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
so many people that be like, Pablo, what church you go to? Like, what God you be serving? Like, you just getting blessed like overtime. Like, I went to Germany and shot a commercial in
Wow,
Germany. I ended up getting an agent in Berlin. You got
wow,
people that don't even just have agents in the US. I got one
right,
in New York that covers me for all of the US. And then I got one in Germany that covers me for Europe, Spain,
wow,
and where else? In London. And it's
yeah,
like all this stuff wouldn't have happened. And like I said, I was scared, going out to Germany, didn't know what to expect. And it's like, you gotta go scared. And sometimes when you go scared and you still go through with it, Simone, that's what we call courage and bravery. Our
mm-hmm.
founding fathers wasn't all the way together and,
No,
confident. They were scared, but they knew they wanted to be free. They wanted to be
yes,
broken away from, what I'm saying, the British rule. And it's
yes,
like our ancestors, they wanted to break away. They were
yeah,
scared, but they were still, all right, look, we about to go at nighttime. We're gonna put this dirt up on us
right,
so the dogs can't smell us. If they catch me, oh well. At least I tried. And I
right,
think if you try every single day, like, all right, it didn't work yesterday. All right, what did I do wrong? Like, take some time to evaluate your week. Okay, what
yeah,
did I do good this week and what didn't I do good? All right, I could put more time into this. And that's when I started doing. I said, all right, I keep saying I'm an actor. I'm not going to acting workshops. I'm not going to acting festivals. I'm not going to other people's premieres. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just Pablo. But when I went to the American Black Film Festival,
yeah,
we networked all over. They was like, yo, who is Pablo? Like,
Wow.
he ain't even in no movies, but he's all over the festival.
Right,
So
right, right.
that's how I ended up getting my agent. She saw me talking, like me and you talking, and she was
Yeah.
like, you an actor, ain't you? I looked at her like, how you know I'm an actor? She said, I can just tell by your personality. I was like, yeah, I'm an actor. She said, well, you got an agent? I said, no, I got a manager. She said, you exclusive or non-exclusive? I said, I'm non-exclusive. She said, I want to sign you. I said, what? She said, I
Hmm.
want to sign you. I said, look, don't play with me. Like, I had a lot of people use me and take advantage of me in my life. And I don't want nobody using me, Simone, but God. She said,
Yeah.
I work with Universal. I said, let me see your business card.
Yeah.
She put it out. I said, oh, you official.
Right,
Okay, you real.
right.
So it's just like you just got to take that risk, and I think every risk I take, it ends up being a big reward. So like you got to take the risk, and don't worry about failing. I think so many people be scared to fail. I mean, I
Yeah.
want to fail tomorrow. I want to get
Right,
hurt
right.
so I can get back up and then do it
Yeah.
again. They're like, I want to be perfect. Like
No.
nobody was
Well,
perfect.
most times when you start trying to be perfect, you'll never do it.
You'll never do it.
No.
All right, I want to wait till the time is right. Like maybe they want to be a writer. Like, yo, I want to write this script. Man, I got to get the ideas together. Look, just put one character down. Okay, what
Yes.
is he
Just write it.
wearing?
Just write it, please.
Right.
Just
Who
write it.
is his
Oh,
nemesis? What is his arc? How do you want to end the film, and how does he
yes.
start the film?
Right. Just
you
put it
know,
down. Get it out of your head. That is the biggest thing I've learned. Get it out of your head.
right?
That like I
Because
don't.
the head, it's gonna get
Yeah.
stuck.
Yes.
And you don't want it to get stuck. You want it to help somebody out. And
Right.
when I started just writing and just taking my thoughts out. I'm like, all right, God, I'm being serious. And I started creating like a schedule. Okay, I read my Bible in the morning. I go, I run, I work out, I work on my health, I work on my mental, my spirit.
Mhm.
Then I read a script. All right, cool. Let me make my phone calls. And it's like now I remember where a buddy of mine, he said, Pablo, I want you to be at every event. He said every model show, every fashion show, every movie. He said, and then I want you to pull back. He said, because after they keep seeing you, now you want to pull back. Now you want them to miss you. Like, dang, where
Mm,
Pablo at? I ain't seen him today. Was he at this event? Oh no, he got something going on. He said, because you want to be in demand and you want to stay in demand. He said, but you want to
yeah.
make sure people know who you are. And I was like, wow. I said, I didn't realize I was doing that the whole time.
Yes.
Now I can't be everywhere because I'm on set filming
Because
or
you're at
working on this project or that
yeah.
project. So it's beautiful, man. I tell people, Simone, I feel like a free slave. I feel like a free slave. Being able to wake up,
It
no
just
boss telling me to
yeah.
clock in. I get to spend so much time with my nephew and take him to the park and to play with him and watch him grow and see my dad. Like I couldn't do all of that, as a
Yeah,
cop.
you're
And when I
free. You're a
did
free
do it, I was tired.
man. You're a free man.
Right, I'm a Morgan free man.
Yes, you are. So okay, so to wrap up this section, so my podcast is called My Why, and the reason why it's called that because everybody has a why they do
Yeah.
what they do, right? So what is your why, and why do you continue to keep going?
Man, my wife, oh man, my mom, you know what I'm saying, and my sister is my main why now because I want her to be cured, from breast cancer, and I want my nephew to have somebody he can look up to. I want my dad, to have a son he's proud of, and I just want to be able to leave a legacy and to show people, man, you can go through the worst of the worst and still come out shining like a diamond.
Right.
Because they said a diamond is a rock at
Mhm.
first, but then it go through pressure, then it go through heat, and then you got to get cut. So
Yep.
once you go through all that, nothing can break you.
Right.
And if you just go get through it and go through the storm, like yo, the rainbow on the other side is so beautiful. And you're gonna look back and you're gonna forget about all them struggles, all them days you didn't have the money, or your car was this, or your family, or the haters, or the naysayers. You're not gonna remember none of that. But if you don't finish, you gonna remember everything you went
Everything.
through. You like, dang, I remember this person, that person, then I quit. I
Mhm.
was right there at the finish line. Why did I quit?
Wow.
So I would tell people, man, like, don't quit, and your why, you know, it gotta be just deep and better. Like when I see my sister alive and walking every day, and I see her going to her appointment. She actually is on her way to an appointment right now. You know, I see
Yeah.
her hair growing back, and I remember when she was getting, you know, a double mastectomy, and I'm driving her to the hospital. I'm nervous, praying in the background while she get her surgery done. And when God brought her through,
Wow.
it felt good. I said, God, I
Yeah.
cannot lose somebody else. Like I just lost somebody. I lost my
Yeah.
mom. Like the same thing. Like I'm tired of losing people. And it's
Yeah.
like, God, like, man, just stay strong. And I felt like God was cutting me and putting pressure and heat. And let me see if Pablo can deal with this. And let me see how he deal with that. And let me see how he maneuver. And it's like, I've been through so much craziness. It don't
Yeah.
even shock me no more. I'm like, all right, what we about to do now? Okay.
So what
Well,
we
this not gonna be so it's like I'm used to being in adversity. Like I'm used to being in the jungle. Like first I got the jungle
Yeah.
Now I'm in the jungle, like, all right, it's a tiger. All right, well you better kill me because I got this
Yeah,
dagger.
you
And
already
if
know.
I gotta
Yeah.
stab you in the neck, it cuts you all the way down, then hey, you might cut me, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
kill me. And
Right.
if you think like that, like, hey, I might get bruised, I might get hurt, but I'm not gonna die. I'm still alive. Like
Right.
every day we live and we breathe is a blessing. Every day I wake up, man. Like I went to Panera Bread and they was like, Paula, man, you just light up the room and the space. Like you're like an espresso cup
Yeah.
of coffee.
You are. I got
I said, I've
it's
never
funny because
heard
you
that
really are. Like it's not even like a joke. Like people, some people will say that, but they really aren't. You legitimately are that.
Right. And I love making people feel good. Like we was on the movie set and like I don't like to feel like I'm better than anybody. And I came
Yeah.
on, it was like, Pablo. I was like, hey, what's up? I'm like, all right, Kilo K, baby. Got the sorry.
Yeah.
And they was like, man, Paula, man, like when you wasn't on set, it felt different. Like we
Hmm.
missed you. I was like, they like just come back just to hang out. I said, all right,
Yeah.
man, I'll come back just to hang out. And that's why I tell people, man, people really remember how you treat them. And Simone, I've been
Yeah.
the same way since high
Ever.
school, college, ever.
Hmm.
You know,
Forever.
and I just
In
feel
fact, I
like
don't even know if you remember. I met you at UMS. We went to
was
yes.
it my freshman year
I don't know if it was your
or
freshman year, but
sophomore?
it was my. I had just moved to Maryland. Just moved to Maryland. Started going to UMES, and I only went there for like I didn't only went there for a year. I really wasn't even there for the whole time. It was 2014, so I don't know what
Okay.
year. Okay,
Okay, so that's the year I graduated.
okay. So
So
what? So this is how we met, though. We're not going through the details of
no, no,
why.
go to the
I,
details. We got time. We got time.
no, this is how we met because I was running for Miss Kappa Alpha Psi, and I was a runner up.
Wait.
I was a runner up. I didn't win, and I was just doing it just to do it. There really was no deep. And I met you, and you used to get the best hugs ever. And I yes, you still do, I'm sure. But I just always remember we didn't talk a lot at the
I'm
time. We
gonna give
didn't.
you a hug, but I see you in Atlanta next weekend.
Yes, yes. We didn't speak a lot, but I remember you because of your. I was like, oh my god, he's just so great. But you always were in and out because
Oh,
you're doing the ton of things, obviously.
right.
But at the time, obviously, so that I remember you from there. So I just always just always we always got like on social media, my follow whatever. But yeah, that's how we originally met. I was like,
I remember now. I remember now. I can't
that
remember
was
who
way back
won.
2014. So I'm like, this is
Yeah,
so
2014. Shoot, because we just celebrated like the 10-year anniversary
yeah,
last year.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, so what year did you come out again?
So I only was there for a year. So I wasn't.
Okay,
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't graduate from there. I graduated from Morgan, but
got you.
yeah. So
Okay,
I ended up transferring. So I wasn't even there long enough. But it was only because I was doing just random stuff on campus. I don't know what I was doing.
okay, okay.
We just ran across. So I always just was always still familiar with you. Like I said, I don't think we even like. It was not even anything. It was just like I just remember you because you were you're memorable. That
Wow, thank you, thank
yeah,
you. Oh, I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's how we originally met. But I'm just like,
Thanks.
yeah. So, but yeah, so that's what.
Uh,
So we'll go
so
on to the
Simone,
next
question. Let me
topic.
ask you a question. So you're in Atlanta now, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so I know we talked about it earlier, but I'm gonna be coming to Atlanta next Saturday for the
Hmm.
same movie premiering this Saturday. So I would love to connect with you when we
Yeah.
get down there next weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm here, so we can get the logistics together on that. Send me your
Bet,
stuff.
bet.
I'll definitely be at the premiere, and I'll definitely
Okay.
support
And then
that.
like somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, all right. So let's go into the next segment. This is a
Okay.
game. It's a new game for season 2. It's called Questions That Need Answers. Right.
Okay.
So you're gonna pick a category. I'll go through I think it's 4 categories. You pick a category, and then you pick a number between 1 through 5, and then I'll ask you whatever question you land on.
Questions that need answers. Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So here's the categories: creativity and process, ideas and imagination, philosophical and reflective, and playful and unexpected. Which category do you want to?
I'm gonna start off with playful and unexpected.
All right, pick a number between 1 through 5.
3.
All right. If creativity had a soundtrack, what songs would be on it?
Woo.
Like your creativity had a soundtrack, what songs would be on it?
Um.
I'll just pick
What's
top 3.
okay? The first one I would do. What's that joint? Do you think about me now and again? The Kanye
I'm
West.
coming home. Homecoming is
I'm
that
coming
home?
home again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
met this girl when I was 3 years
yeah.
old, and what I love was she had so
Homecoming?
much.
Is that the
Huh?
name?
Yeah,
That's the name.
homecoming.
Okay. Homecoming Kanye.
Homecoming. Creativity. Let me think. What's another artist I listen to? I listen to so many artists. Definitely Chris Brown. I would say for creativity, I really love that Kiss Kiss joint.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a classic.
She want
That's a
that lovey dovey,
classic.
that
Yeah,
kiss,
yeah,
kiss,
yeah.
kiss.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna do the Michael Jackson PYT.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Where did you come from, baby?
Oh my God. So I got okay. So you got Homecoming, Kanye West, Kiss Kiss, Chris Brown, T Pain's on that one too, I think.
Yeah, T Pain, T
And,
Pain.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
PYT, Michael
yeah,
Jackson.
PYT.
Oh, that's lit. That's lit.
Hey, cousin, hold on real quick. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
you good. You're good. You're good. So yeah. So I have one last segment that I'm gonna do because we'll wrap it up. I know we've been talking for been so
Hey,
long.
man, we could talk
We
all
can wrap.
day.
I know. I know. All right. So the last segment I have is called "Be Encouraged." This is a segment that I gift my guests with, just, and I always pray and meditate before I do any episode, just so I can know what is just a word to give my guests that will just
Okay.
be able to for them. And I actually wrote this. What's so interesting is I wish I timestamped this. I wrote this yesterday at like
Wow.
6 p.m. So whatever I'm about to tell you, I got at 6 p.m. yesterday, and I wrote it down exactly how I got it. And
Wow.
it was interesting because I was hearing the conversation. I said, "Oh my gosh!" So I'm gonna read it to you
Wow.
exactly how I got
Okay,
it.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You can have it all: the wife, kid, family, life, and career, whatever you want. You don't have to pick and choose. You have already sacrificed enough. Just let God know when you're ready. He got you. No more sacrifice needed. So
Oh my God, you got that yesterday?
6 p.m.
You know what's so crazy, man? Like I've been talking to God, like God, like who do you have for me? I said because whoever she is, she got to be a dynamic, special lady. She got to understand my career. She got to understand I'm a really big family oriented person, God fearing, like God, like ooh. But when you say like you could have it all, you don't have to sacrifice and choose. Oh, that was confirmation. That was confirmation,
You
Simone.
just have to let them know you're ready for it all. Like it, it's just not you're not in you've sacrificed enough. You
Yeah,
it's almost like you have to get out of like you almost like you have to move from. I know it's what you're used to, but it's a different space
right.
you have to be in order to receive.
To receive it, yeah,
Yeah, you can't receive in a place of still sacrifice. You have to receive in a place of
of
being able to
abundance.
receive.
Ooh, ooh.
So,
What they be doing in the coffee joints?
oh my God.
So you better
It's
talk
always
that talk,
tailored.
Simone.
It's always tailored to the person that
Right.
I speak to. I never know, and it comes to me at random places, to random times when like I said, I always pray to see what it is, and then when it comes, I write it down exactly how I get it. So with
I like
whatever
that.
applies for you, that's for you, and a gift for
Okay.
you. So
Man.
you know.
I Woo-wee.
So I am just so happy and that you were able to talk today and just being vulnerable and just be able to be open. And I know
Yeah.
somebody watching this episode is just going to get the spark they need, which in a lot of ways I got some, you don't
Yeah.
understand. You talking to me too. So I'm just so grateful for your time, so grateful for you being able to be open and just I just know that somebody's going to be able to learn and grow from this conversation. So
Amen.
I just
Amen. What I
appreciate
always like to do too, I like to leave people with quotes that I
that.
live by. One is about my good bro, Bakar. He's actually from Atlanta, too. He always say delayed is not mean denied. And a lot of times we think because it's not happening right now, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And whatever the mind conceives, best believe you can achieve. Nothing beats a failure but a try. I try till I die. Therefore, I never fail. And last but not least, a lot of people died just so I could have a life. And that's why I give my life as a sacrifice.
And with
Thank you.
that, folks, all right, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Appreciate for
Que
tuning
lo
in.
que.